Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. How are you, wherever you are? I welcome you today. I'm on different platforms, Echoto Reloaded, JB Muwonge, Echoto YouTube. If you have got any donation for Echoto YouTube, please donate at echoto.gmail.com, so you can donate something. So let me play this video as I'm going to speak about how Ugandans, our rights, they've been stripped. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Hello, everybody. Domikis, as always, I'm talking about how Ugandans, they've been stripped of their citizenship. We are all Ugandans. We are entitled for everything. We have got our rights, but so far, Ugandans have been stripped of their rights. So I've been talking about the news, the sad news that doesn't go away, but it does concern me a lot. 19 women, they die every day. 330 children, they die every day. And I said to you yesterday, it was the news. I'm glad it came in the news. I've been telling you that 21 people die through fatal accident every day in Uganda, and the 21 other people, they die through brutality. So roughly, Uganda is losing nearly 600 people who die, which should have been avoided. So this was the news yesterday, which says that a day of grief, 28 killed in road accident. This was the news yesterday. So we need to know these are issues that determine the country. And Anita Amongi also tweeted about this. So that is very significant because this is how you know about the country. So fellow Ugandans, I'm a Ugandan. I have my passports. I have very many. I have passports. I have renewed my passport, and I'm not giving up my passport for East African passport because that will be against my rights. I don't see why I should have East African passport. East African passport should be optional. So fellow Ugandans, as we stand today I'm going to tell you something that I'm excited about. Invisible hand in that NUP, and people, you listen and listen to that. It is very simple, but we need to know that invisible hand into NUP. So Ugandans, we are no longer citizens of Uganda for simple reasons. Basics, they have been taken away. Once you are a citizen, there are things you are entitled for that you don't need to beg, you don't need to wait, they just comes to you automatically. Bannayuganda, ngenda kwogera engeri munnayuganda gye bamuggyeeko okubeera munnayuganda. Bw'obeera omuntu ng'oli munnayuganda, obeera n'ebintu by'obeera ng'ebyo mu buzaale, ebintu byo tolina kulaajana, tolina kusabiriza, naye nga ebintu babikuwa buwe. So as we can see, there is something that has gone on, that we are going to have new identity cards. That is for election. What election is coming, that we are going to have new identity card. Should we have new identity card? Unfortunately, those identity card, we can have an ID, I don't mind. But the problem, those ID, they expire within 10 years. That means that is not about that is not about identity card for a citizen, but it is identity card for acquired citizen, for somebody who has been naturalized, who has been adopted, who has been. So it expires. It shouldn't expire. So once it expires, that means you are no longer a citizen. We are not a citizen. We are entitled for identity card which don't expire. If you lose it, you can go and repress. So tugenda okufuna ennangamuntu naye twazifuna dda naye batugambye ate bagenda kuziddamu naye nga beetegekera okulonda. Kati bwe ennanga zino omuntu bwe bazikyusa n'obeera nga eriko ekkomo ly'emyaka, kiba kitegeeza nti gwe bakuggyeeko okubeera omutuuze, toli mutuuze. Abantu be balina okuwa ekkomo balina kubeera abo abafunye obutuuze bwe Uganda, oba bavudde Bungereza, oba bavudde Rwanda, oba bavudde wa. Naye kati ffe we are indigenous, tetulina kubeera na kkomo bwe baba nga batuwa ID. Ekyokubiri, tulina passports. Kati passport baazituggyako ez'e Uganda. Nze zange ziizino nzirina, sigenda kubawa passport n'emu. Ezange nzirina baazituggyako, kati baatuzza ku East African passport. Naye East African passport tuzeetaagako ki? Ekisooka Kagame yagamba tatwagala, ebintu tebikwatagana, okubeera nga twegatta walina okubeerawo ebintu bina nga tukkiriza. Ekisooka immigration. Ekyokubiri tulina okubeera n'ebyensimbi, tulina okubeera n'ebyobulamuzi, tulina okubeera n'ebintu ebikwatagana ku mateeka aga bulijjo. So now the second is about the passport. The Ugandan passport has already been scrapped since the 3rd of April 2022. Now we are required to give in our old passport and acquire the East African passport. But I'm not giving up my passport because I don't see why I should have East African passport. First of all, East African to integrate, we need to have 3-4 bases that our judiciary is good. When you see in Kenya, judiciary is doing very well. Immigration, we have got issues of the influx of people from Rwanda, influx of people from Zaire, influx of people from Sudan, influx of people from Afghanistan. So immigration or migration is very important. Judiciary, we are trying political prisoners into army court, which is not in Kenya. That is not acceptable. Even in Tanzania, those are not acceptable. And another thing has got to be the money. Uganda, we are the third poorest country. We are borrowing money after money after money. Then we must have respect of human rights. As we can see, Uganda is into the paper, something to do with human rights. Kakwenza is there. Everybody, there are so many Kakwenzas. So that means they stripped you off of being a citizen, you like it or not. We cannot be that we subscribe. We have to be that we are entitled for. Number 3 is about voting. Some people in diaspora, they've been denied to vote. The prisoners, they've been denied to vote. It was ruled in the High Court that diaspora people should vote. Prisoners has got to vote. By voting, the way we saw the general election in people who turned up in Western Uganda, they were being told, you don't vote for president. That is being done. We can see how they are forging ID, they are stopping people from voting, but voting is a right. Our constitution tells us it's our duty to vote. It is one of the responsibility as a citizen to vote. Ensonga eyokusatu, bannayuganda batuggyeko ekintu ekiyitibwa ekyokkuba akalulu okulonda abakulembeze. Kaakati abantu ababeera mu bwengula, ababeera wabweru bwe Uganda, abwe kkooti yasalawo balonde, n'abantu abasibiddwa balonde. Naye Uganda ekintu baakigaana nti tebalina ssente. Ate tulaba bannaffe abatuddiridde. Kenya bwe baali balonda, baakola ki? Abantu bonna mu nsi yonna baalonda. E Rwanda bwe baali balonda, abantu bonna baalonda. Naye kati e Uganda bo bagaana bugaani. So ekyo kikulaga nti oggiddwako omuntu okubeera nti gweoli munnayuganda. ffe tuli mu Uganda naye tufuuse abagenyi, tufuuse kubanga ebintu byonna kati batutemerako obutemezi. Ekintu ekirala kikwatagana ku ttaka. Okubeera n'ettaka nga gwe nannyini ttaka kikulaga nti oli mutuuze wankalakkalira. Era mujjukire nti ettaka bakubuuza wazaalibwa wa, tambula ng'Omuganda, kola ki? Ettaka lirina ekintu kinene nnyo ekikufuula okubeera omutuuze. Naye tulaba nti baleeta ebbago mu paaliyamenti nti ebintu by'ettaka ebya Buganda Land biveewo, ettaka libeereko n'enkyukakyuka. Tulaba abantu bangi nnyo bababba kati amataka babasengula. Another point is about land ownership. Once they take away your land, once they take away your rights to own a land, we can see a bill coming into the parliament to scrap Buganda land, to intervene with the ownership. What we are seeing that if you have a dormant land, the government comes and takes it away. Like they take away the land from Chotera, Sango Bay. That is very sad. So once they take away all this, it means they are stripping you your rights, which is not fair, which is not good at all. So what we are seeing now, as we can see, there is a catalogue of mistakes that they have gone on and on. Once they brought the machine to get the passport, the machine is not good enough, is not quick enough. Once they brought in the machine for ID, is not quick enough. It can only work on 3 people per day. How are they going to cover a population of 45 millions? Everybody needs the ID. So what we can see that our citizenship has become commercial. As for now, a Ugandan, you have to buy yourself. As we can see, dual citizenship. Now you have to pay $400 US dollars, and then on subject, on approval, you are going to be required to pay $5,000. So that is commercial. That is not entitlement. Once we entitled for, we are meant to be paying a fee, maybe $100 US dollars, but you have to pay a lot, which is, so everything in Uganda is becoming commercial. For me, when we go back to something to do with the IDs, I don't understand. There are so many Rwandan people who have got ID for Rwanda, ID for Uganda. Dual citizenship for them, for people from Rwanda, is very easy. Dual citizenship for Uganda in diaspora is not very easy, and now it is becoming expensive. So that is how they are stripping Uganda of your citizenship. They are stripping everything away from you because now you don't have the right. The Constitution gives you the right. Bw'otunuulira ebintu mu Uganda bifuuse by'amaguzi, otunuulira abantu ab'e Rwanda babeera n'ebitambuliso by'e Uganda, bali n'ebitambuliso by'e Rwanda. Ate ffe bannayuganda tetusobola kufuna bitambuliso eby'e Rwanda, naye ate bo babifuna mu bwangu. Ate kati bw'otunuulira bannayuganda abali wabweru wa Uganda, kati bo ate okusaba obutuuze, babeere n'obutuuze bubiri mu nsi gye balimu n'obwe Uganda, kati olina okusasula $400. Ate bwe bakukkiriza osasule $15,000. Kati kifuuse kya buguzi. Bw'oba ng'oli mutuuze tolina kugula bintu bw'otyo. Gavumenti eveeyo etunnyonnyole lwaki ebintu bino ebitunda. Era n'olw'ensonga eyo nsaba Shadow Minister owa Internal Affairs owa NUP, Honorable Abdallah Kiwanuka ow'Emukono North, olw'ezinga ensonga zino. IDs lwaki bazongeza? IDs lwaki bazikyusa? IDs bwe baba bazikyusa, abantu abalina bazibalekere, bwe zinaggwako ku myaka 10 bakomewo bateekemu ebipya. IDs lwaki bazikyusa ku speed? Lwaki baziteekako ekkomo ly'emyaka? Tuli batuuze, twazaalibwa Uganda. Bino ebintu bikulu nnyo. Thanks Edna for sharing. Kati ebintu bino byonna bw'obitunuulira bijjeewo ekigambo ekiyitibwa freedom. okwetaawuluza gwe eddembe lyo balirinnyeemu, eddembe lyo tokyalirina, bo balitutte, buli kimu kyonna, ng'ate ebintu bino byonna gwe omutuuze gw'olina okubeera nannyini byo. Kati tulaba bakuggyeko batya obutuuze. Kati waaliwo nga tugenda mu kulonda ne bagaana campaign team eya NUP okuyita ku main road. Ate ng'omutuuze ekintu ky'oli entitled for ekisooka ebintu ebimu ebiri basic olina okubeera ng'otambulira ku kkubo. Kyekyo lwaki emmotoka zisasulwa omusolo gw'oku kkubo okuyitako, naye gwe omuntu tolina kusasula. Kati tulaba amakubo bagaziba kubanga bali mu mbuutu za kujaguza mazaalibwa g'abamu, ate nga ekkubo balisibye abantu tebagenze kukola. Then one of the basics as a citizen, wherever you are, is to use a public road without anybody stopping you, without any apprehension. But what we can see now, the roads, they are being closed because of birthday celebration. They stop the businesses, they stop the transaction. So as a citizen, you're always entitled to use a public road. That is where you feel you are a citizen. You know what? And then something else that they are stripping Ugandans of is service delivery. Everybody knows it. Poor education, poor health, no job creation, poor housing, poor transportation, high corruption. Uganda, we are the third poorest country, and we have poor sanitation and water. So all that, they are stripping you your rights. All that, you're being stripped of your rights because your ID, you have to apply for a long time. We saw our king. Our king was lining up to get an ID, and he encouraged, NRM, their tactics, once they see election coming, they try to find a way to stop people, from what? From voting, because they know they don't have the numbers. We have got generals from Sudan, they have got passports and IDs for Uganda, but we don't have anything for Sudan. So where we are now, Ugandans, we are being stripped of our rights, of our citizenship, which we are entitled for, which is our right, and it shouldn't be stripped about that. So these are the catalogs that I'm talking about, like SIM registration. Waliwo SIM registration nga bagamba wajja kubeerawo okukwata ababbi, okuwandiisa essimu yo eya SIM card. Kati ebintu byonna weebiri naye tebiriiko coordination. We are lacking integrated system. We are lacking a coordinated system. Tetulina system nti weeri, nti omuntu ajja n'alaba ebintu nebikwatagana ne bidda wali. Kati baateekawo nti bagenda kuwandiika buli ssimu y'omuntu, bawandiike n'ennamba basobole okuteekako. Naye ebintu tulina ID, tulina passport, tulina SIM card. Naye ebintu bigaanye okukwatagana. Buli waliwo akatabanko, bonna ate beesanga nga tebalina we batandikira, ate nga twali badde nga batandikirawo. Kati awo ne kintwala ku pointi yange ey'okubiri, okwefuga tewaliwo okwefuga kulungi. Uganda ekizibu kye tulina, ebintu bino byonna nga tobiwadde muntu, nga tobimuwadde, wagenda kubeerawo effugabbi, wagenda kubeerawo abantu okwekyakyana, wagenda kubeerawo abantu okuyiiya. Bagenda kuyiiya batya basobole okufuna identity card? Bagenda kuyiiya batya basobole okufuna passport? Bagenda kuyiiya batya basobole okufuna ennangamu? Ekitegeeza bagenda kujja balimbe. Ekitegeeza bagenda kujja n'ebipalati basobole okufuna kye baagala, naye nga gwe ate ky'oyagala okufuna ebintu ebituufu ate nga tobifunye. This brings me to my second point, lack of rule of law. Bwe wabeerawo lack of rule of law, people, they are going to try and find survival means to acquire ID, to acquire all these documents. People, they are going to demonstrate if they don't have freedom. So this brings the lack of rule of law. This is one of the things, because you are denying people what they are entitled for. People, they're going to find survival mean to have ID. They will bring you fake papers. NASA Road, they will bring fake papers, you like it or not. If for the passport, they are going to bring fake documents. For you to be satisfied, I hear that now it's easier to have a passport if you use names of those who come from Western Uganda. But you know what? I'm never going to change. I cannot swap being a Uganda. I cannot swap my Uganda. I cannot swap it for anything. It's natural. I'm proud, and it's what I am. My Kabaka, I love you. You know, I love you so much. And I'm mystified. I'm like, what is happening? Something is fishy. Something is not good. Sabasajja nkusabira nnyo. Ebintu bino bikwatagana kati bw'olaba ebintu lwaki tuli mu katyabaga kano catalogue of mistakes is about corruption. Corruption, one of the key elements is procurements. Who are these people who went to buy these machines to make ID? To make these IDs being sophisticated that you can apply for ID, you can have it within 1 day, within 1 week. But who are these people and what machines? I remember Tamale Mirundi was always used to say that these IDs, they will be done. They will have to be repeated. And you see, his word is coming to pass. Number 3, it is very, very critical. This point is very critical. As I speak to you, I'm going to tell you about the invisible hand in NUP. Tufunye invisible hand, jemutamanyi. Kanjibabuulire tufunye omukono ogutukuttemu, ogutubba, ogutusomola abantu ba NUP. Kati kambaliiremu lwaki omukono guno tugulina? Njagala mugumanye, njagala mugubuulira abantu. Omukono guno tugulina nti twawandika manifesto nga nnungi. Manifesto bwe twagiwandiika ne tuleetawo okuteesa nti tugenda kukwataganya ebyenjigiriza ku fronts 4 ne tukozesa ennyukuta A. Ne tugamba wajja kubeerawo ab'emizannyo, ab'omu kibiina abagezi, ab'ebitone, bakomediyani, tubeerewo n'obulimi. Kati ekintu ekyo kyakwatayo, ekintu ekyo kyali kirungi nnyo. Kati ne kivaamu nti ekintu ekyo baakyegomba. Ekintu kino story njagala mugitegeere. Kati ne mulaba nti Muhoozi ayagala kubeera pulezidenti. Ye Muhoozi ne ttiimu ye ba-identifyinga nti alina okulinnyirira Robert Kyagulanyi nga bw'ayagala. Naye bagezezzaako bamulemeddwa. Kati ne bagamba Robert Kyagulanyi bamulinnyirire batya. Ne bagamba akwagalira omwana aba akwagala, atakwagalira mwana aba akwagala. Ne bagezaako okuyingira ku bintu ebya mutabani we Solomon Kampala. Kati kwali nejjirawa balaba nti yakwatayo naye tebalina kibamanyi kibagenda kwogera. Kati n'olaba nti abantu era Muhoozi yakugambye nti basinga kwagala bya mizannyo n'okwesanyusaamu. Kati ekyo nkugirayo invisible hand. Mujjukira video Babi gye yapostinga David Beckham ng'aweereza abaana ba Bobi Wine message ng'abayozaayoza ng'ababuuzaako. Mujjukira ebyavaayo message eyo ng'evuddeyo Alan Kasujja mukwano gwa Muhoozi era yamupostinga ennaku ezo nti bano be bakwano bange abasinga 4 ate bonna bawanvu. N'akozesa Alan Kasujja akola mu BBC n'akuba ebyenjaga ebikwatagana ku mutabani wa Bobi Wine. Naye mukama waffe Fred Lumbuye n'akikwatamu n'akikuba n'akissa wali. Kaakati era mulaba bwe yagenza okuyimirira nti ayogera ku mazaalibwa ali mu kombati era yayogedde ku by'emizannyo. Kati ye invisible hand. Tulina manifesto nnungi. Manifesto yaffe olw'okuba ideology yaffe y'abantu ekwata ku bantu era erimu ekinyusi kingi. Era ffe tulina okugyogerako ne tugijanjawaza ne tugisosowaza. Naye kati bo bagyegombye balina eyaabwe. Secure the future ya page 348 something. Naye tebalina kye basobola kujjamu. Naye kati balaba eyaffe kati olaba Muhoozi competing ne Bobi Wine. Mujjukire Bobi Wine yatugamba nti Museveni anaatera n'okunywa ekibaaba. Mujjukire akantu ako. Mujjukire bwe bagamba nti bagenda mu ghetto. Kati mujjukire bwe nabagamba nti banoonya engeri gye bagenda okuba mu Bobi Wine. Kati ebintu bino ate nze nfunye essanyu lingi okulaba nti manifesto yaffe nze gye ntegeera gye mmanyi nti ate NRM egenze n'egyesimbamu ate omuntu ne bw'akubba ID okitegeera. kati bano bahandlers ba Muhoozi we bakikoze ng'oyinza okukiyisaako amaaso naye lwaki bakikoze batidde sports erina impact y'amaanyi kyekyo lwaki naffe tugireeta mu manifesto yaffe kati balaba omuntu omu ku ba sports people on this whole world David Beckham is speaking to Kyagulanyi children kati amanyi nti abantu be Uganda bagenda kunogoka batandike okwegomba ate batandike kati ng'abaana abato okubeera nga bo badde eno mu NUP kati ate ye ayagala kujja mu buyinza kyekyo lwaki yagambye ebya sports agenda bikolako ate agenda ku rehabilitating a stadium. I've never seen stadium being rehabilitated kati ekintu ekyo copycat. This is invisible hand kati tulina bahandlers ba Muhoozi kati batunula mu manifesto yaffe kati mwe ate olw'okuba nnungi n'abantu bagyagala kati nabo Muhoozi talina proposal talina ideas tiimu ye terina kati batandise kukyanga which is nze nabagamba politics ke kazanyaako bw'ogenda n'osoma ba university oba kiki bakugana plagiarism naye osobola okukyusa ekintu ky'omuntu era tukozesa bitabo nti naye as long as you acknowledge nti so and so yagambye bw'ati kaakati eyo ye invisible hand gwe mukono gwe bataddeyo nti bakwata kati mu bintu byaffe batugoberera era ffe NUP tulina kubeera nga tusanyuka tulina kubeera nga twewaana kubanga ebintu ebyaffe bibalaba nti birungi bo kati kye bakoze bataddewo ekkomo nti tetugenda mu bantu babulira manifesto eyaffe kati gye babbamu ebintu naye nga yona gye tugenda so invisible hand. There is invisible hand into NUP, but this is very exciting. It is a big revolution. If I could take you back, NUP has got a very good manifesto where we have proposed the Quad A, athletics, academics, arts, and agriculture. And that is very touching to the young generation. That is a good manifesto. That is a good proposal to Uganda, how we are going to reform our education. So in that case, as you can see, that of recent few months ago, David Beckham sent a message to Bobi Wine's children. And that really attracted a lot of attention. And the NRM were looking ways of stopping, putting cold water onto this. And they used the BBC journalist called Alan Kasuja, whom he describes as his best friend. And then they brought in about the drugs, misuse of Solomon as Chisubi, which was very wrong. And then he was using that brother. And if we can see, Muhoozi is trying to go toe to toe with the Bobi Wine, involve the Bobi Wine. And that is the reason, because they know the impact. David Beckham is one of these biggest sports people in the whole world. They know the impact it can have on young people. This is why Muhoozi said that. He knows young people, they love sports and they love to be entertained, so he's going to do something about it. Muhoozi is saying that because he knows that the impact, if we have a spin doctor who can spin it well, we spin that video and that clip, people, they can be attracted to NUP. So these are all political tactics. These are political strategies that strategists they can give to him that do this, say this. But however, when somebody steals your idea, you always know. You always know, because NRM manifesto, we know it. Nothing is there to do with the people, but it is our ideology. It is our idea. And you can see they are going the wrong way, but they are trying to shut down about what is our idea. My proposal to people, young people, don't accept the promises. If the promises, they haven't worked for their 60 manifesto, they will never work. Don't accept that he's going to be indifferent, because he doesn't like to interact with the people. He doesn't want to be criticized. He doesn't want anything negative. And he's also needed to go and explain himself in the ICC. So as I wind up, we can see Ugandans have been stripped off. of our citizenship in a way that is becoming as a catalogue of mistakes, that the IDs that expire, passports we are adopting to East African passport, voting, diaspora prisoners are not allowed, land ownership is being taken away, dual citizenship is becoming commercial and not easy, whereas Rwanda people they have it. And then denial of services. If you were a citizen, you are entitled for services. And then what we see, freedom, you no longer have your freedom. And then denial of citizen to use public roads, that is stripping off your citizenship, and the pride goes. And I don't know how we can become patriotic if I don't have all these things I have mentioned, if I don't have them with the ease. It took me over 3 years to get my identity card. Why? I used to check on them every 3 weeks, every 3 weeks. So, and yet we have got so many IDs and passports which haven't been corrected. And then we have people from Rwanda, they have got dual IDs. They have got IDs for Uganda, they have got IDs for Rwanda. Sudan, they have got IDs for Uganda. Now we've got Afghanistan, we've got people from Zaire, and yet indigenous Ugandans is so difficult to have IDs, which is not so. And without all that, you're gonna end up without rule of law. There will be lack of rule of law because people, they are going to try and find ways to acquire all this, and they're going to bring in your fake documents in for you to have it. So it's not purpose. These are catalog of mistakes. So I'm calling our NUP Shadow Minister for Internal Affairs to say something. And I'm calling NUP people from diaspora. Nkunyingi has pressed alternative policy for people in diaspora, which hasn't been allowed to go ahead. But it's our duty to petition to see that that alternative policy is being pressed into the parliament. And then we are having invisible hand, which I have explained in great detail in Uganda. And that is not the end. They are still stealing our ideas. They are still taking our what? They are still taking our ideas. So, fellow Ugandans, I thank you very much for joining me. That was some of my comments that we've been stripped, but it is up to us to say something, and then we say we do something about it. Kigato nkulabye, Nakyanjala nkulabye, Mr. nkulabye, Salo Ghana nkulabye, Bambi. Thank you everybody. YouTube, thank you. Share, donate at choto.gmail.com. I thank you very much for listening to me. You have a lovely day, and thank you everybody who is still doing lives, whatever way, posting videos. We demand our prisoners. We demand our victory. We demand Uganda to be free, because we entitled to determine who is going to be our future president. But as it stands for now, it is a hot potato that it is all over the place. But however, the power of the people will come through, and eventually the people will win. We shall overcome. That is the way it is. Salute. People power, our power, people power. NUP everywhere, everywhere, NUP. Salute. Thank you.